Welcome, everyone, to Cosm's winter solstice celebration. In the Northern Hemisphere, the winter solstice comes in the midst of long, cold, dark months with a promise of more of the same ahead. December 21st or 22nd marks the shortest day and the longest night of the year. Following winter solstice, each day becomes a bit longer and each night a little shorter. This transition in the balance of light and darkness has powerful potential as a metaphor within the spiral of life. Celebrated by ancient civilizations, the significance and unique energy of winter solstice as the return of the light has long been a part of sacred rituals embedded in religious traditions. The rebirth of the sun offers a sacred mirror for personal regeneration. The annual reappearance of sun gods are embedded in the myths of many cultures as a metaphor for the reversal of the darkness and the return of the light. The sun has always been associated with the power of life and wisdom. The ancient Egyptian falcon-headed deity Horus resembled the heavenly sun god Ra. Celebrating Christmas at solstice time makes Jesus identified with the spiritual sun. If winter solstice is on December 21st, though, Alex, then why do we celebrate Jesus' birthday on December 25th?
Well, that's a great question. Let's look at the celestial alignments for winter solstice. The Earth circles the sun on a tilted axis, which gives us the seasons. Each new day on Earth, the dawning sun appears to move slightly across the horizon, and this is caused by the axial tilt. At the December solstice, the northern hemisphere is leaning farther away from the sun than at any other time of the year, causing the shortened day. Solstice means sun stands still. From the 21st till the 24th, the sunrise appears stationary, entering the horizon from the same point for 3 days. The sun has reached its apogee, or climax phase. December 25th is the first day that the sun appears to move back in a northerly direction across the horizon. Winter solstice can be a time for self-reflection and setting intentions. Only a week later, we make our New Year's resolutions for the coming year, letting go of our past and considering personal transformation. Starting over with a clean slate, solstice is essentially tied to personal awakening. What is dawning in us? What creative seed of light could be growing in us this year? For many cultures around the world, the winter solstice has been the occasion for a festival of lights, whether candles or bonfires. Stonehenge, a prehistoric ring of standing stones in Wiltshire, England, is oriented toward the winter solstice sunset. Winter solstice rituals were clearly hosted at Stonehenge for Stone Age people, and it continues to be a pilgrimage site for people who like to get stoned. Archaeologists believe it was constructed from 3000 to 2000 BC. In previous years at Stonehenge, on winter solstice, crowds have gathered to watch the sun set between 3 great stones, known as the trilithon, consisting of 2 large vertical stones supporting a 3rd horizontal stone across the top.
In ancient Japanese Shinto religion, Amaterasu is the great and glorious goddess of the sun. The name Amaterasu translates as shines from heaven. The goddess is an embodiment of the rising sun and Japan itself. In fact, Amaterasu is considered the ruler of the universe. She's the center of Shinto and Japanese spiritual life. The sun represents order and purity, two of Shinto's most important concepts. As sun goddess, she illuminates and warms all things, providing nourishment to all life and making the order of day and night. Perhaps the most celebrated myth concerning Amaterasu is when she blocked herself inside a cave following an argument with her brother, the moon, who surprised the goddess by throwing his monstrous horse into her loom while she was quietly weaving in her palace. The gods also placed a large sacred sage tree outside the cave and decorated it with sparkling jewels, plus fine white clothing and a mirror placed in the center. And when that did not bring her out, the goddess of mirth danced a striptease so wildly that the uproarious laughter of all the gods finally excited Amaterasu's curiosity. Cracking open the blocked cave, Amaterasu glimpsed her stunning reflection in the mirror, and a strong god yanked the goddess out of the cave, and the world was once more bathed in her radiant sunlight. This is how Amaterasu, goddess of the sun, returns and is thus celebrated on the winter solstice.
For the Zuni Native American Pueblo peoples of western New Mexico, the winter solstice signifies the beginning of the year. It's marked with a ceremonial dance called the shalico. After fasting, prayer, and observing the rising and setting of the sun for several days before the solstice, the Pequin, or the sun priest, traditionally announces the exact moment of Itwana, the rebirth of the sun, with a long, mournful call. With that signal, the rejoicing and dancing begins, and 12 Kachina clowns in elaborate masks dance along with shalico themselves, which are 12-foot-high effigies with bird heads, seen as messengers from the gods. After 4 days of dancing, new dancers are chosen for the following year, and the annual cycle begins again.
Mithra, meaning both love and sun, was an ancient Zoroastrian sun god, a worship celebrated as early as 5000 BC. To honor the Zoroastrian sun god, one of Persia's most festive celebrations is held on the eve of winter solstice, the longest night, a time when family and friends gather and read poetry by Hafiz. The celebration is said to protect people from evil spirits during the longest night of the year. In Iran, this night is called Shab-e-Yalda, referring to the birthday or rebirth of Yalda, also known as the unconquerable sun Mithra. Roman Mithraism emerged as a competitive underground religious cult at the same time of Christ. Roman Mithraic followers moved the sun god's birthday to December 25th, the day of the return of the light, that was held by future incarnations of Sol Invictus cult. The Roman Mithraic mysteries represented their cult with carved reliefs depicting a traditional scene. Mithras, with a Phrygian cap, slaying a bull while gazing at Sol Invictus, recognizable by his flaming crown. The cult of Sol Invictus, or unconquered sun, may have been worshipped for hundreds of years in Rome before it was made the official sun god of the empire. On December 25th, in the year 274 AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian made Sol Invictus an official religion alongside other traditional Roman cults like the cult of Cybele or Dionysus. Aurelian built a new temple for Sol, which was dedicated on that date, elevating the sun god to a premier divinity of the empire. Legends claimed that the unconquered sun was a companion to Emperor Constantine, who reunited the Holy Roman Empire. Emperor Constantine portrayed Sol Invictus on official coinage and initiated Sol Invictus Day, celebrated annually as a day of rest on December 25th. The 5th century Christian theologian, St. Augustine, preached against minting coinage of Sol Invictus, this god of nature worshippers, because December 25th was the day Christians had chosen to honor the birth of the Son of God.
For billions of Christians worldwide, Christmas on December 25th is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. Although the actual birth date may be debated, the symbolic congruence of Christ's birth with the winter solstice aligns the Christian tradition with eons of sun gods and goddesses. Christ represents the integration of humanity and divinity, a state of God realization. Christ is the God self, symbolizing our highest possibility, reborn as the light of spirit, glowing in the heart manger. The Gospels of Matthew and Luke start the story with 2 visionary angel encounters. In the days when Herod was king of Judea, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth in Galilee to make an announcement to a virgin named Mary. Mary was betrothed to a man named Joseph, and the angel told Mary that a child would be born to her and that she was to name him Jesus. The child would be the Son of God and rule over Israel forever. Mary, the mother of Jesus, was betrothed to Joseph, but is said to have been pregnant through the Holy Spirit. Joseph intended to divorce her quietly, but an angel told him in a dream that he should take Mary as his wife and name the child Jesus, because he would save his people from their sins. Joseph awoke and did all the angel commanded. The birth was drawing near when Caesar Augustus commanded the census of Roman domains. And as Joseph was of the house of David, the couple had to travel to Bethlehem, the ancient city of David. So it came to pass that Jesus was born in Bethlehem. And since there was nowhere for them to stay in the town, the Holy Family was housed in a stable with animals, and the infant was laid in a manger. Angels announced the holy birth to a group of shepherds nearby. and they came and worshipped him as Messiah and Lord. Jesus was born in Bethlehem during the time of Herod the Great. Magi from the east came to ask Herod where could they find the King of the Jews, because they had seen his star. Advised by the chief priests and teachers, Herod sent the Magi to Bethlehem, where they worshiped the child and gave him gifts. When the Magi departed, an angel told them not to report back to King Herod. And another angel appeared to Joseph in a dream and warned him to take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, for Herod had intentions to kill him. Well, in the Christian tradition, Christ is the supreme gift of the season, given to the world by God and present in the love and generosity that we show to others.
The tradition of celebrating the Yule goat may have originated in Scandinavia to honor Thor, the Norse god of thunder and lightning, whose goats pulled his chariot across the sky. Tied to Indo-European beliefs and ancient nature-worshipping festivals, the Yule goat, made from bundled sheaves of harvested grain, was credited as the spirit of the harvest and thought to possess magical properties. In Scandinavia, Yule goat celebrations were among the oldest Northern European winter traditions and may have originated as Yule goat live sacrifices during the nature-worshipping celebrations of Yule in the past. In contemporary Sweden, the mythic Yule goat is an invisible spirit that appears sometime before Christmas to make sure that the Yule preparations are done right and properly. Generations ago, it was a popular Christmas prank to place a handmade Yule goat in a neighbor's house without them noticing. The family successfully pranked had to get rid of the Yule beast by sneaking it undetected into the home of another neighbor. Christmas pageants would often include a costumed Yule goat, a rowdy and sometimes scary creature demanding gifts.
Saint Nicholas was an early Christian bishop of Greek descent. He was popularized in Germany around the 11th century with a feast dedicated to the children on winter solstice. Was an annual occasion when children received special attention. The reputation of Saint Nick evolved among the faithful partially due to his legendary habit of secret gift-giving, which gave rise to the traditional model of Santa Claus. Many tales of his saintliness followed into the legend. Bishop Nicholas is said to have rescued 3 girls from being forced into prostitution by dropping a sack of gold coins through the window of their house each night for 3 nights, so their father could pay a dowry for each of them. It is thought that Santa's costume in red and white might bear a relationship to the Amanita muscaria mushroom that grows at the base of pine trees. Psychonauts have observed that shamans in Siberia have a practice of drinking the urine of reindeer who have eaten the Amanita muscaria mushroom, the best way to potentiate the consciousness-altering affects. Santa, assisted by elves, with reindeer flying through the air, plays into the visionary foundations of shamanism around the figure of Saint Nick. The history of the Krampus figure is thought to stretch back to pre-Christian Alpine traditions. This mythic character is said to have originated as the horned god of nature worshippers. In Alpine folklore, Krampus is a creature, not human, who, at Christmas, punishes children who misbehave. This contrasts with St. Nicholas, who rewards well-behaved children with gifts. Christian customs have long paired St. Nicholas with Krampus. Since medieval times, animal masked devils have appeared in St. Nicholas festivals and Christmas parades and performed together in church plays, sometimes including dreadful comic antics. The horned heathen is thought to have transfigured into the contemporary Christian devil.
Kwanzaa, an African-American celebration of cultural reaffirmation, is one of the fastest-growing holidays in the history of the world. This 7-day annual celebration, held from December 26th to January 1st, was founded 30 years ago when graduate student Maulana Karenga, disturbed by the 1965 riots in Los Angeles Watts area, decided that African Americans should hold an annual remembrance to honor their distinctive identity and shared experience. The name Kwanzaa comes from the Swahili phrase Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits. For Kwanzaa, a festival of lights, the kinara with 7 candles is kindled each night. The 7 candles of the kinara, 1 black, 3 red, and 3 green, represent the people, the struggle, and the future. The candles also represent the 7 principles: unity, self-determination, collective responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Intended as a non-religious holiday, Kwanzaa is a time for African American families to join together and venerate their ancestral roots. Observing both Christmas and Kwanzaa is welcomed. On December 31st, there's a Kwanzaa feast called Karamu. The ritual structure of the celebration includes a welcome, a remembrance, rejoicing, and a farewell. The final day of Kwanzaa is devoted to giving homemade presents that share the values and beliefs of the African American heritage.
Thank you, Great Spirit, for the glorious gift of the universe, and for the cosmic creative force that brought forth galaxies. How amazing is our galaxy of 100 billion stars, our magnificent sun, the holy fireball center of our solar system, the source of the extraordinary world of life on Earth that we share with countless creatures. Thank you, Great Spirit, for our beloved sun that has receded, shading our season. Thank you for this longest, darkest night, and for the mushrooms that grow in the dark, spreading life throughout the woods. Thank you for the darkness that encourages hibernation for the blessed animals, and for the darkness that soothes us to sleep, recharging the batteries of our creative spirit. With gratitude, we embrace the inspiring darkness that gives birth to creation. Now, harnessing the energy of the season, we imagine the sun reborn inside of us and visualize the dawning light in the center of our chests, inside our hearts. All the tremendous power of life is contained in this sun of awareness. Now, imagine that inner star sending out glistening rays of rainbow colors in a purifying, healing, spectral light that radiates in all directions. We call any lost or fragmented portions of our soul power and retrieve our wholeness and selfhood. This inner heart star sends out rays to cleanse and heal our physical and subtle energy bodies. Our essence joins with the miraculous sun. As one, we shine with the beauty of the dawn. May the growing light of each day bless and empower your creative renewal through the coming months.
And may any merit generated by this gathering be offered to the benefit and liberation of all beings.
Happy winter solstice, everyone!